With us now is Senator Chris Coons, a Democrat from Delaware. Senator, thank you so much for being with us. We get regular reporting on the Trump transition. If you are there, I'm wondering, sir, what letter grade would you give the transition so far?
I'd give it a C, maybe a C minus. Here's the most positive thing I can say. President-elect Trump has moved very quickly to suggest a very wide range of folks who he intends to nominate once he's sworn in as president. But the degree to which there's been background checks done on them, to the degree to which they've been vetted, I think has fallen far short of what our nation's security and economy, what our public needs. He's just thrown people out more like it was a reality TV casting call than these are serious nominees. And he's already had to withdraw several folks before the nomination process even formally begins. So, look, the last time Trump was president, he put forward a number of very serious, qualified folks. For example, General Mattis, who was his Secretary of Defense, a four-star Marine Corps general, decorated combat veteran, who got 98 votes. This time, Pete Hegseth is someone, a Fox News host, who's had all sorts of controversies swirling around him in the weeks after he was first suggested. He may well get confirmed, but it will be after a lot of controversy. He has had to walk back a number of his statements. He has said publicly previously that having gays serve in the military is a Marxist conspiracy, that women should not be allowed to serve in combat. He has just walked those back yesterday. So I'd say for a transition, there's more drama than substance, and it's a bit of a distraction given everything that's going on around the world and here at home.
But you still would give them a passing grade. A C, C minus is a passing grade. I happen to know that firsthand.
It's not a great grade in my book, John. In fact,
listen,
that's about as low a grade as you can get.
It's passing. I know that for a fact as I stand here today,
Sure.
Senator. Listen, are you going to vote to confirm Marco Rubio as Secretary of State?
I may very well. I've known Senator Rubio for 14 years. We've served on the Foreign Relations Committee together. We've legislated together. We've traveled together. I was just talking with him yesterday. I have not had a formal interview with him yet. We haven't gone through the confirmation process yet. I will do that with every one of the nominees who's in the jurisdiction of the committees on which I serve, and as many as I can. And I think that's just part of our job in the Senate, to meet with nominees, to ask them probing questions. And as was the case last time, where they are qualified, they have the right character, and I can support them in terms of what they intend to do with the agencies they're nominated to lead, I will vote for them. But this is a far more troubling group of nominees than last time.
President-elect Trump says he is going to pardon January 6th rioters, we don't know which ones or how many, in the first hour after he is inaugurated. How do you feel about that?
I think that is a terrible idea. These are people who have been duly tried and convicted in a court of law of having assaulted police officers, stormed into the Capitol, in many cases attempted directly, physically, and violently to interrupt the peaceful transfer of power. These aren't folks who just committed some minor infraction, and they certainly aren't folks, as Donald Trump has repeatedly suggested, who are hostages. They have been convicted of breaking the law in a very serious event, probably the only storming of our Capitol in modern American history, and one that had grave consequences. So to simply pardon them all, I think risks unleashing a group of folks who have already committed political violence. I hope that if he does in fact do this, that these folks will not continue acts of political violence, but I don't think there's any guarantee they won't.
On the subject of pardons, there has been discussion about whether President Biden should issue some kind of preemptive pardons, maybe for people on the January 6th committee, maybe for other people who've gone sideways with people in the incoming Trump administration. Sarah Isker, who worked in Trump's first Justice Department, but apparently upset some people in current Trump world, she wrote an op-ed today in which she noted that Kash Patel in one of his books had listed her among people that should have some kind of action taken against them. She writes today, "I'm on Mr. Patel's list. I don't want a pardon. I can't speak for anyone else on the list, but I would hope that none of them would want a pardon either. If we broke the law, we should be charged and convicted. If we didn't break the law, we should be willing to show that we need the trust and fairness of the justice system that so many so that we trust the fairness and justice system that so many of us have defended. She also said that if she were to be prosecuted by the Trump administration, it would embarrass them somehow. How do you feel about President Biden issuing preemptive pardons?
John, I respect the quote you just read from one of the folks on Kash Patel's enemies list. I'll just remind you that to be investigated by the FBI, prosecuted by a U.S. attorney, can cost a defendant hundreds of thousands of dollars, even millions of dollars, and can be profoundly disruptive to their lives. I spoke to Senator Schiff this week on the floor, and he has made similar statements that he and I think Liz Cheney, former Congresswoman Liz Cheney, has also made this statement that they don't want to be pardoned because they've done nothing wrong. And I admire their determination to trust our legal system and to stand up to the bluster and the threats of Kash Patel and President-elect Trump. But I think part of why there is some consideration being given to proactive pardons is the cost and the disruption, and frankly, the disrespect for the work of Congress that underlies a threat to try those who served on a committee of the House of Representatives.
So you think it'd be a good idea for Biden to do it?
I think the president's got to weigh a lot of different factors. How seriously he believes Kash Patel, the nominee to be FBI director, and the other nominees to lead the Trump administration's law enforcement agencies, how seriously they are determined to go after their enemies list, and whether or not some of those who are on that list and who are reasonably foreseeably going to be investigated want a pardon. If they talk through this issue and decide that there's no one who is seeking a pardon, that will lead them down one path. If there's others who are petitioning urgently for some relief, I think you should seriously consider it.
Senator Chris Coons from Delaware, thanks so much for being with us. I appreciate it. Kate?